That's what I like. Hey. Welcome back to Crusade with me. I'm Dave, your host, your spiritual sidekick, your unofficial life co-pilot, who still occasionally yells at inanimate objects when the Wi-Fi drops, but anyway. And whether you've been riding with us since episode 1, or you just accidentally clicked this while trying to play your favorite true crime show or whatever you follow, I'm glad you're here, because this is not just another podcast episode. This is the start of something fresh, something needed. This is the relaunch of Crusade with me. So let's talk about the shift. For a long time, this show was a place where we went deep, spiritually, emotionally, even intellectually. All right, now, that's not going to change. But what I've been watching the world lately, and let me be honest, it's a little nuts out there. The news is a roller coaster. I mean, social media feels like a middle school food fight. And people are burning out like candles at a haunted house party. I don't know how else to put it. But so I asked myself, so what's the point of a podcast like this if it doesn't speak to what people are really going through? I mean, sure, we could keep things neat, tidy, and theological. And I, as might be able to tell, I kind of get into theological discussions and debate. Or we can get into the mud with folks. Talk about anxiety, purpose, division, that overwhelming feeling of, what am I even doing with my life right now? So yeah, we're pivoting. Still deep, still grounded. But let's say now we're taking it to the streets. Hello, my queen. How are you?
Good morning, my love. I'm good.
Hey, man, is it hot? It is hot.
Been a little toasty this week.
You know, I was so confused the other day. You tell me more often than not that what do they call it? TMI?
TMI, yep.
I farted this week, and I didn't know if I shit my pants or if I just blew all the sweat off my butthole. But anyway,
Goodness,
it's hot.
it's hot. And
And we're in the upper Midwest, and it's freaking hot. This is not what we're accustomed to. Now, the universe smiled on us because it gave us a little preparation, because we did spend several days in Key West a month ago. So that was a little precursor help. But it wasn't as humid there as it has been here. It's been stifling.
Yes, it has. And I went and retrieved my mother on Monday, and my sister-in-law. I left a little early so I could have some pool time with my sister-in-law.
Fun size.
Yep. And even at 9 o'clock, 9:30 in the morning, I was in the pool for about an hour and a half, and I got fried because I'm thinking, it's 9:30 in the morning.
Right.
I don't need sunscreen. And I spent, a week
Right.
in Key West.
Correct.
For me, I have a base tan. I mean, I have two colors. I'm white or I'm red, and then I go back to white.
Right.
So.
And when you bruise, you're blue, so you're a very patriotic gal.
I am. It's the right week to be red, white, and blue. Yeah. So I did get some refreshment there. And of course, our son, has been without air this week, they have air, but it's been like 78,
Right.
80 in their house. So
Well, no. 84
84. So
in their house.
we kind of rescued him from a parking lot on
That was a good
Saturday,
story.
Sunday,
That was Sunday, yeah.
last week.
Sunday,
because of-
Sunday, US
yeah.
30 drag strip.
While
Anyway,
he was trying to go get a portable air conditioner to
Mm-hmm.
get some reprieve in his home that he rents from some scumlords.
yes, indeed.
Of course, his car broke down. So, I mean, it was not a good day for him.
No,
for them.
well, you know what? God bless him. He acknowledged this, right? He was so excited on Tuesday. I mean, I was like, I'm not going to have my little itty bitty pretty one and pretty panda suffer through the night, and so we bought the portable air conditioning unit, but because he was like, now I got to have money to fix my car, and he had just bought not a new, but he bought a really a couple-year-old used car, and I'll throw it out there. It's a Subaru, and we've had nothing but pretty good things to say about our Subaru. I think that's what led him down that path. And yeah, now he has kind of screwed himself, but with a signing of a lease that's not helpful to him at all in any way, shape, or form, and gives all. And these people are, when people are in bad situations, this is a true slumlord, for lack of a better term. They feed on that. Yeah, they feed on that.
They know they are taking advantage of them because of the situation they're in.
Yeah, and huge. And so, lesson learned, right? I think he's learned the lesson. But he was so excited Tuesday, called me, and I did answer because I'm just trying to keep pace with what's going on with the air conditioning, and because I'm concerned about that for my little one. And the dealership that he bought the car from, it was still under warranty for like 100 more miles. So, I mean, it was really small and days. And they repaired it for free, and it was not a major, like he did not drop the transmission like he thought.
We all thought.
Well, and I thought too, right? It was not good. It was not good. The bearing bolt for the clutch plate had come loose, and so it was metal on metal as he was trying to. But he has enough wherewithal to now understand, or he understood that, hey, I cannot continue to drive this, and he pulled into a parking lot and immediately stopped, called us, and went and got him. Then we got the air conditioning unit.
Right.
Then we went home. Then he had it towed the next day, and so kudos to them. When I say them, I'm talking about the dealership, and it's a pretty big used car dealership called, I'm going to throw it out there because it's not in my town, it's nowhere near, it's actually like an hour south of us. It's called Preferred Auto in, like, I think it's technically called Roanoke. Indiana. So kudos to them. I want to give a shout out to Preferred Auto in Roanoke. Seem extremely reputable, and like I said, they tightened up those, and it was not a big deal. It's probably a 15-minute fix, and they're like, we're not charging you anything for this. We just tightened these up, and we've run it, and then he ran it with no issues. So looks like that was a problem. I mean, obviously, in my business, my question is, why did the bolts loosen up? That's all.
Yeah. And then kudos to their neighbors because they brought over an even larger portable air conditioner.
Yes.
Because again, the scumlords were in no hurry to fix. It took them almost a week.
But they wanted to
make sure that
the grass was mowed.
Yeah,
and
that was their first response to my son.
Yeah,
to our son's email that they had no air. Even though there, was a 5-year-old and a 10-month-old that have been
She'll
sleeping
be
in
5 this coming month, or is it the end of this month?
25th, yeah. So anyways.
She's been saying she's 5 for like 6 months here, but.
Yeah. So the neighbors brought over an even larger one, and so they've been operating. Again, it's in this heat wave, it was an unbearable situation for them. And something that you would think that the landlords would be pronto about, given that there's 2 small children in the home. And so one night he brought the littles over so that they could get a bite to eat and a bath and not be miserable
Right.
when you
Right.
get
Right.
out
Right.
of the bath and feel your pajamas sticking to you immediately. And
Correct.
also him. I mean, he's a type 1 diabetic, and, the heat is not good for him either. So that was a little pick-me-up for us this week to have
Well,
the little girls.
I know he's your baby boy. I think he's a hell of a lot tougher than you think. He is.
That boy shakes all the time.
Okay,
I mean, he has
that's
other
another.
issues,
Isn't
too.
that Graves or something? I don't know.
Graves' disease.
All right. Oh, HIPAA. We just violated HIPAA. No, I don't think it's HIPAA when it's
My child.
Yeah, and yeah.
I can say what I want.
Okay.
Anyways, that's been our heat update this week.
I'm not gonna threaten violence or anything like that, but Wiscombe landlords, I'm just not plotting. I'm thinking about it really boils down to money.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say this, that's the world we live in. It all most things in our world boils down to money. We were trying to chillax and chill for a little bit last night, so we watched this episode on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we watched one about surviving Black Hawk Down, which was very interesting to revisit.
We have one more to go on that.
We have one more episode to go there, and then we watched. No. Okay, we watched we watched this thing about this cruise ship from hell, and I can't remember the date. I think it was back in 2013.
Yes.
It was a Carnival cruise ship that lost all the power in the Gulf of Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And 4,000 people are stranded out there for days. And the apex of this entire thing was about the fact that the ship's toilets didn't work, which I understand that can be a problem.
Right. There was no electricity. So
There was they had a fire.
Yeah, no air conditioning. And they all
in the Gulf of Mexico.
They all had to poop in red bags, and then the
biohazard bags.
Yeah.
I'm impressed that they had that many biohazard bags on the ship.
Right.
Or is that what they were transferring from the tugboat on? I have no idea. But anyway, it was a
very
on
enlightening.
one. It was, and we've talked about taking a cruise.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for a clothing optional cruise, which I think they're out there, but you don't like that idea. But anyway,
No.
because I just think that's. I've had episodes talk about back to Eden. How in the hell are you going to get back to Eden if you got clothes on? That's my thought, okay? That's all I'm saying, all right?
When I get there, I'll deal with that problem.
You look marvelous.
You do, you really do.
Where was I going with that? Oh, watching that show makes you, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not worried about going out on a cruise ship. That type of shit don't bother me. What gives me pause is they did, now, I don't understand it because this happened 12 years ago? 2013 would have been 12 years ago. So I don't know what happened that they truly only had 3 people to interview out of 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what happened to everybody else? Because I thought, when you have an hour-long episode on Netflix, you could probably track down all of them, or, the ones that are alive.
Mm-hmm.
There would be a lot more than 3.
Mm-hmm.
And two of the groups that they interviewed, when I say groups, it was a father-daughter. Mm-hmm. They interviewed then a young man, which I liked him. He was fine. He was funny because he was truly poking fun at the entire thing. Mm-hmm. And 12 years of time will do that, right? You can laugh at stuff. Mm-hmm. And his true focus was on lack of toilets and the red bag that he had refused to use. Mm-hmm. So
you can only do that for so long.
Well, when you gotta go.
He claimed he found a working toilet.
Yeah, it's probably in the captain's chambers. But anyway, I have no idea. I
don't know how you can find one.
I know. Yeah. I know.
But he claimed he did.
Yeah. Well, I guess they did interview. I'm talking about they had 3 guests. They did interview like one of the chefs,
Oh, yeah.
the activities director, and I don't remember what the other guy's title was, but he was the one on the
He
satellite
was an
phone
engineer or
commuting.
something, yeah.
I don't think he was an engineer. He certainly didn't come off like an engineer. I work with a lot of engineers, and
Yeah, he had, yeah.
you could see them a mile away, right?
Don't offend.
They know it.
Well, okay.
They know it. I'm not saying something
Yeah.
they don't know.
But the ones that rubbed us really wrong was really kind of indicative of society
Well, yeah.
that we, I guess,
The
take issue
3
with
girls
the 3
on there, the
bachelorettes.
bachelorette party that they took this cruise, and
They were more offended that they weren't getting alcohol.
well, not just that. It was, and
And then they had to squat to pee in the shower.
yeah, I'm not saying that this was ideal by any stretch. It wasn't, and I can understand. And look, I'm a fat guy, so humidity and heat is no favor to me. And it made me rethink going on a cruise because I thought, I don't know if I could be on a boat with a
these
shit ton of
people.
these, but like with these people's attitude, because truly it had nothing to do. It was all about them, just so narrowly focused, all about them. And
But it also sounded
that's
like
sad.
on
And you're right about the alcohol of the party.
well,
Like they still
people
wanted to
started
continue.
hoarding and
Yeah, we saw that. That shouldn't shock us. Now,
right.
we can go back to 2020, right? And that was a global shit show, for lack of a better term. And remember with the hoarding of toilet paper and all the nonsense, and you know what cracks me up about that is all these righteous, high and mighty people talking about, World War II and Hitler and fascism and all this and the other. And how could the German citizens let that happen? Oh, we have so many people in this society today, and I think that 2020 was absolutely the gut check of our society and saying this is exactly how. Tell on your neighbor if they're having guests over, or they're outside, or they're it's just some absolute BS nonsense that happened, and it was supported and lauded by a lot of people. And then they wonder, fascism is so bad and they're wrong, and how could that happen? I'm like, you're living proof of how it happened, because you would be one of them. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to, because they're high and mighty and more intelligent and morally superior to everybody else, which is, you're not going to get through to those people. There's no need to argue. And I just wish people could be real, understand that, and say,
Yeah. I spoke those words to our daughter-in-law this week when all of this was going on with the landlords.
right.
And she was tons of emails going back and forth, and she called to read me her response to the landlords, and I said, you know what, honey, it's a great response and it's probably a great release to you. I said, but I think you there should be no response. You're
right.
You cannot
You're not gonna
argue with
change.
stupid people, and you're not going to get her to see your side of this.
You're exactly right.
And all you're going to do is prolong this argument, this situation. Just stop.
Yeah, and I don't want
Just stop.
my second daughter to and I consider her my second daughter. I mean, I talk to her like my second daughter, right?
Yeah.
I don't want her to, because I think when you have those arguments, there's something inside you that you are thinking that you're going to change something, and you're not.
Yes. I've been
Right.
there,
So
done that.
now you're kidding yourself.
Yeah.
Now you're kidding yourself, and don't
Yeah.
do that.
Right.
Because you're not going to get anywhere. So
No.
you got to recognize that you're absolutely right and just move on. And when I say move on, hey, you got to protect your children. You got to.
You got to get some airflow.
Yeah,
you gotta
get
right. That's what I told her is just address the air conditioning. Forget all this other stuff, this nonsensical stuff that this landlord is saying and spewing and all this. Stop trying to tell her.
Well, if there's any lawyers
your
out there, I
side of the
mean,
story.
we would be willing to pay some fees. I think there's some
That's what
opportunity
right.
here. Yes.
That's why I told her. I said that I think your only recourse in this is an attorney, and
I
that's
agree.
it.
And I hate those guys. But
Right.
that's why we're where we're at, right? I mean,
Right.
when I say hate them, I know we know a couple. And, well, we know of. I don't. And I know that Jeb's friend doesn't do what we're talking about. He's a corporate attorney. I mean, he's not.
We know him. I used to babysit him.
I know. I know, but regardless, I'm just saying that.
Well, I technically didn't babysit him, but he was home when I was babysitting his children because his mother probably obviously didn't.
His
trust
siblings,
him.
not
Yeah.
not
his
his.
sig-
Yeah, you
his
said
siblings.
children. His
Yeah,
siblings.
His siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's been hot.
Yep.
Been hot. You know, and hey, about that truck. And I'm trying to think about the last time I had a General Motors product. It's been a minute. Well, I bought my son-in-law's truck, and that was a Chevy.
Mm-hmm.
It was a farm truck.
Yeah. It had seen some things.
And it was okay. I mean, it was a nice truck. It was okay. And the universe was smiling on me because, right, I traded it in on a different truck, a Ford, you know, the blue oval.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I liked that one.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you didn't have that very long.
they circle the problem there. You know, and I say that because my dear departed father-in-law retired early because of medical issues, but retired from Ford.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had a couple of Fords, not a bunch. We've had a couple, but that was always a thing. And obviously, you know, when you work for Ford, you probably need to drive a Ford.
My dad always said, you will drive a Ford
Right.
as long as you're living under my roof because it puts clothes on your back and the food on the table.
That's not wrong. I want to be clear. That's not wrong.
Yep.
Right. And so there's that. Then, yeah, this was just timing, and I did get a supplier discount from General Motors, which I could have got it from Ford. I could have got it from whatever. I mean, we could
Right.
still get the X-Plan or whatever for Ford, but they just had a really good deal going on. You know, my truck was made in my local town, but and I don't live in that town or city specifically, but it was assembled right here in our backyard, basically. And it's one of these half-ton trucks with a diesel engine in it, which I knew they made and forgot about it because my daughter-in-law's dad has one. He's had one for a couple of years, and he really liked it. And so I got one. And so I was doing my normal work this week and traveling and blah, 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 blah. And man, you know what's really cool? When you get better gas mileage than what it said on the sticker.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So to have a half-ton 4x4 truck with a crew cab, I don't know what the hell they call it. They got so many names for these trucks anymore in the cabs. And General Motors is about as screwed up as anybody when it comes to their naming culture for how they name things and all this. Really, really confusing and doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But I'm sure there's some engineer within General Motors that like made an Excel spreadsheet and said, "Oh yeah, this is how it." I have no freaking idea, but anyway. So that was a big plus and positive. We have not put your mom in the truck yet, so
No.
I got to get my step
Step
stool
stool.
out because I love my mother-in-law dearly. I mean, she lives with us, right?
Right.
I love her dearly, but she's
4 foot nothing.
she is, well, she's probably 4'7" or 8.
8.
Yeah. When do you consider you a midget? We should probably Google that.
Honey, that's not the proper word, but they call them little people now.
Oh.
I don't think
So
she's
do
a
little
little
people-
person.
So do little people have little problems? I have no idea. I just. And then my Sweet Peas horse trainer's wife's mother, if you follow that, that's like,
Yeah.
she's all into midgets or little people, right? And I have not met her.
Joanne. I had to think for a minute what her name is. Joanne.
Joanne, okay.
Mm-hmm. She likes the midget wrestling.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Come on. My first introduction was deplane.
Oh, yeah. Fantasy Island.
And yes,
Yes.
Ricardo Montalban.
Oh, yeah.
And he was a spokesman for Chrysler, right?
Mm.
The Chrysler Cordoba with rich Corinthian leather. Anyway, I digress.
Wow, you're going back. Bringing back some memories.
Yeah. And then this week, I had, okay, so I guess I need to fill in the gaps here about my mouth work.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be an exciting month. You're getting new teeth. I'm getting new ears.
Well, I'm not getting new teeth.
Well,
I'm
you're
getting a couple
some, yeah. And I'm getting new
Well,
ears.
because I think I shared that I was really disappointed,
Yes,
and then it's not what I had expected.
I don't know if somebody listened to this podcast, but things happened.
Yeah, so when I had one cleaning on Monday, and I wasn't supposed to have the next one until September, and amazingly, I got in Wednesday for my second cleaning, because then I had all these excuses for why I couldn't have them back to back or the same day, because you got to heal and you got to do it. Well, that went out the freaking window quick.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're treating me well, and that little girl, and she's not a little girl, she's she's
in her 40s.
She's older than our kids, but not by a whole hell of a lot. But she is a sweetheart. She is, I mean, she's been in my mouth for like 5 hours this week, right?
Yep, yes, she has.
Poor girl.
Yeah.
And you know what? I know some people that like to talk. That would be a great job for them because they could talk and the people can't talk back.
No recourse.
Yeah, because they got shit in your mouth, right? So you can't talk back. I mean, I asked her, I said, have you ever been bitten? You know, and she did say she'd been bitten a couple times because I'm thinking, I'm trying to be a good guy and be helpful because she's helping me, right? So I'm trying to sit there for 2.5 hours or 2 hours with my mouth open, and she got this crap in there. And some of them, that equipment has like water comes out of it constantly. So then that stuff pools. And when I swallow, my jaw kind of flutters or opens and closes. And I don't want to bite her, but she's good about, she works for,
a little bit.
Then she pulls everything out. And then she works for a little bit. And then to allow you to swallow or, catch a breath or whatever. She's awesome. She is fabulous.
I switched to her again, I think for probably the same reasons that you got in quicker. Because again, this is our we've known our dentist. He's now, our dentist used to be just mine.
Right.
But, since before he was born.
Well, yeah.
But I had a different hygienist, and she would scrape my teeth at the same level that she was talking, and she would pull out to use her hands while she talked, and I have very sensitive teeth, and she would just scrape so hard. She's now retired, but before she retired, I made talk of this to my friend, and I just asked her, how do I go about asking for someone else without hurting this person's feelings? And she said, well, she recommended somebody else in the office, which is now who we both now have. And she's like, just tell, the office girl that on your, just call up there and just say you would prefer to have, our girl now. And she's like, it's not a big deal. Well, before I could ever make that happen, I got changed.
Amazing how
that happens.
The universe is smiling
Right.
on you.
And then right after that, I had seen on Instagram that that she was retiring.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I mean, she was nice, but she didn't have the delicate touch that our girl has. And when you have sensitive
And this girl
teeth,
obviously has a delicate touch
She's
because I'll be
very
honest
good.
with you, she's done some major stuff to my mouth.
yeah, you
I mean,
have
you
to
can
get
see it.
numbed to have what you're having
Oh
done.
yeah, I get 4 shots per side, and But you know what she does? She like dips a Q-tip in like iodine or something. I don't know what it is. I think it was red, and she put it in my mouth. That's what made me think of iodine. I don't know what they're using. I should ask her.
Is it a numbing thing or no?
It numbs. It numbs the heck out of you.
Yeah, it's a numbing.
And then she puts those shots in there, and I'm like, she says, "You're going to feel a little poke." And I'm like, I never felt anything. I don't know what you're
Because she numbed you, yeah.
But, man, are they good. Is she good?
Mm-hmm.
And just a shout out. I'm not going to give the name of the dentistry yet. Mm-hmm. I'm going to see my finished product. But
oh, man.
No, I'm only kidding.
I know it's going to be fabulous.
I do too. Because if he can do teeth the way he talks about bourbon, because he will make a teetotaler want to guzzle a bottle, right? The way
he gave,
remember that?
Yes, he gave the best. He like paired different bourbons with like chocolates
and fruit. I can't remember.
Well, yeah, of course you can't remember because Janet and I quit because you and Kent became the show. Yeah.
Because, I was wearing my kilt that night on that New Year's Eve.
Because, we haven't done another one in years because you guys were bad.
Was it the next day the day that... No, that wasn't the next day that Janet mopped our floor from the living room to the kitchen.
Stop. You are not allowed to speak about that publicly.
That's all I said. That's all I was asking. And you knew right what I was talking about. What I said.
Why not just stop you? Stop that.
All right.
And that's on the books for July too. So I'm super excited.
Super excited. Okay, itty bitty pretty one.
Yes.
She came in. What was that? Thursday. Yes, because I got home from the dentist. Wednesday.
Yep.
I got home from the dentist, and they came in right behind me, basically. Mm-hmm. And
because I was planning oatmeal for dinner.
I ate my oatmeal.
Yes, and so I.
Look, I don't understand this. They talk about your post-operative surgery or your post-operative care and all this and the other. I'm like, okay, you didn't give open heart surgery. It's not like you got to have 2 weeks of. Now I will tell you, they gave me a super soft toothbrush. I have no freaking idea what it is, but it's something like that on the label. It is soft. It's really soft. And the girl, the cleaning lady, she told me to like massage my gums with it. Mm-hmm. And so she gave me a little thing of toothpaste. I'm like, okay, we're Costco members. I have big shit of toothpaste.
Yeah, but it's different. It's
Crest. He gets a kickback, I'm sure. Anyway.
Not everybody understands your humor.
But this other tube, it's called periodontal or something like that.
Because you have periodontal disease.
And I put that on there and twice a day. And it doesn't hurt. I'm aware of my gums. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they act like this is going to be, and I'm like, I think you guys are overblowing all this stuff. That you probably need to dial it back a little bit. But anyway, that's my...
I don't think they understand your pain tolerance level.
I don't know that I have a specific high pain tolerance level.
Do.
I think that either my nerves are shot or my...
my nerves are shot.
I really don't know.
Yeah. I think you have a very high pain tolerance.
And here's my PSA for all the listeners. For the last many years, we all have a talent, right? Sacred writings tell us we all have talents. And a lot of our talents are different. And over the years, I have kind of, not successfully, I've tried to play my own dentist, right?
Yes.
I've pulled my teeth I started with channel locks, and then I moved down to needle nose pliers because I found them to be a little bit more manageable. But because remember, I broke my one tooth off with the channel locks, and then I had to go to a dentist, and she
put her knee in your
chest. Put her knee on my chest to try to get the root out because she couldn't. She was straining, and it just broke up at that point. And so for the next many years, I kept getting little pieces of tooth come out over time that was under the gum line. So just PSA, if you need a tooth extracted, they're much better at it than we are. All right.
Right.
And, because they can look in there with their little mirror and their stuff.
Their little mirrors, their midget mirrors.
Yeah. That little, and that is, and I know you do this. I'm not good at mirrors. First of all, I don't like mirrors, right? I don't. But I know I'm making a generalization. Women use mirrors much more than men, I think.
I do.
Because you hold a mirror and then look in a different mirror to see like the back of your head and all this, that, and the other.
Because my hair is thinning and I'm constantly trying to make sure I got my bald spot in the back of my head covered up. So I have to tease that little piece right here that I'm showing you. Yeah.
You can get a wigglette or whatever. Do they make wigglets?
I'm not spending any more money. Teeth and ears are very expensive.
Yeah. But I was thinking about that as the cleaning lady was in my mouth. And, she's got, like, when you do the back side of your teeth, she has to use that mirror and then use the instrument. And I thought, you know how screwed up I would be trying to do that? Because I get all jacked up when I try to, because I watch you do this a lot.
It's
you
reverse
look
and
at a mirror.
backwards.
Yes. So how her brain has to work to know, okay, I want to get this spot there, but I got to move opposite of what I'm looking at.
Yep. Right.
But she is efficient at it. I don't know how long she's been doing this.
Right. And what complicates that is she wears those glasses that have mirrors on them, so it's like double reversed and backwards.
You're not, well, maybe.
Because she looks like she's staring at a wall.
Maybe that's straightening everything out.
Maybe it is.
Maybe
it is.
I'm going to ask her if I can put those on. You know how I like to investigate things and look. And you always yell at me when I would go to the doctor with you.
Yeah, you're like my dad. Got to check everything out, touch everything, open drawers. He was really bad at that.
Well, if they're not locked, it's an open invitation, is my theory. And I'm paying for it.
Yeah, that was his theory too.
I know. Anyway. So, we're relaunching, right?
That's what you tell me.
Okay. Not that a lot of this has changed any, but I just want to say that I want to clear something up before we go any further than that. And that is that this is still a podcast for people who want more than surface level junk. That's really what I mean by that. We're not turning into a celebrity gossip show, because I was going to talk about, that I don't watch news.
Right.
And the only reason I'm on Facebook is to promote this podcast. And I got a nephew who has a fabulous business.
Barbecue.
It's not really a food truck, but it's kind of and now he's got a trailer.
Yeah.
So, it really is a food truck. I mean, unbelievably delicious.
I wish he could come to this side of the state with it. I wonder if he would ever do that.
Well, I just DM'd him on Facebook to ask him about coming
to the plant?
Yes, because Thursday we had a barbecue guy there, and everybody was raving about these burnt tips and macaroni. Now, I didn't eat any of those because I wanted to consume what you sent me for lunch, and I didn't know how my gums were going to take it.
That's a brilliant idea.
Well, and I said, would he go that far? I mean, that's several hours from where he's from, and when I say several, a few hours from where he's from. And so what I got to do is I got to check with my team to see what did we pay that last guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but I know that his stuff is absolutely. He makes his own
barbecue.
He smokes old school, smokes his own meat with wood. He makes his own freaking barbecue sauce, and so I would really like to. Yeah. So if you're ever out and about and you need some delicious meat, check out.
In Northwest Indiana.
Fatty's Barbecue. It is to die for. Seriously. And I'm not saying that because look, I love my fair share of barbecue. My family's from Tennessee, Western Tennessee, so more of the Memphis style or vinegar-based, not exceptionally sweet barbecue. And we did live a couple of years down in north central Arkansas. And that, I was shocked at the amount of barbecue joints there. And
Hole in the wall barbecues, which is
but
always
there
the
was
best.
Yes, absolutely. And old
Holy
school.
smokes.
Holy Smokes was, yes, fabulous. And known throughout the state as one of the state's best. And it was in our backyard, basically.
Yeah. The only downfall to Holy Smokes is they were big Ohio State fans.
I know. In north central Arkansas,
yeah.
they were Ohio State. I mean, you
Yeah.
talk about nuts.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Ba-dum-bum.
Now I'm confused.
Sorry, we both took a drink of coffee.
I know.
at the
Now I'm
same time.
confused. Did we, the Smiley, the lovely one at work, I think she's an Ohio State fan, which is like anti-cultural. She lives in Michigan, but she's an Ohio State fan.
Huh. Yeah, that is a conundrum.
Yeah.
Well, there's always a standout somewhere.
Yeah. Right. So, but that's, I mean, we're not here to hear me breaking down which Kardashians posted what, right? And because I have no idea, I wouldn't know. Although there was a really good-looking girl on, remember, and I showed you that, and you said, "Oh, well, that's the Kardashian girl," or something. I'm like, "This is the Kardashian girl." She was cute as a button.
It must have been Courtney.
I don't know. She looked young because I thought they were actually getting older, but this one looked young.
Oh, I don't know. I don't keep them straight.
Me neither.
I
I
can't
don't.
keep them straight.
I've never watched their show. I don't know anything about it.
No, I don't either.
And I'm sure as hell not going to be doing any like skincare reviews. Maybe I'll bring my sweet pea on here for a skincare review.
No. You need Terry's granddaughter, Lexi. That's the one I was in.
I don't think people
with.
listening here give a shit about a skincare review, but I could be wrong. And although, let's be honest, I probably could use a little serum or whatever they put on
I know
your
nothing
face.
about this stuff.
Yeah.
But a
I don't either.
12-year-old one time told me asked me how long my skincare routine was, and I said I don't have one.
But you have.
And I asked, how long is yours? At 12. And she said 30 minutes.
Yeah, but that's bullshit. I mean, when I say it's bullshit, I don't mean she's lying. I bet she does that. I don't know why. What got into a 12-year-old's head that she needed a half hour skincare that's complete. Okay.
I'm like, I wash my
it's an
face
opinion,
in the shower with water. That's about it.
But
It's
okay,
not about
but I
it.
think
It is it.
but I think that has served you well. Seriously.
Well, I just now started using. I don't even wear foundation
No,
anymore.
you don't need to.
I use a tinted moisturizer because I'm really wrinkly on my neck, and my face. Anyways,
See, I don't see that. I don't know what you're
people don't
talking
want to
about.
listen to this stuff, but go on.
So what? Here. This is what we are going to be talking about, right? I want to talk about real hard stuff. You'll hear encouragement that doesn't feel like a Hallmark card. We don't want Hallmark cards.
Mm-mm.
You're going to hear a spiritual foundation that helps you keep your feet on the ground. Even when everything around you is spinning like a fidget spinner on Red Bull. Whatever. I don't know. So this is for the people who are tired of pretending. Who want to live with clarity, courage, and maybe even a little joy without faking it. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
And I say all this because I want to be real clear. And I've said this numerous times on this podcast. And I know we're making a little pivot, but I just want everybody to be clear. I am infinitely aware of most of my imperfections, and maybe not all of them, but most of them. And I know I am sure as hell ain't perfect. And I'm aware. I'm sure there's things that are not good that I'm not aware. But we know what we know. And I had told the staff at work, and a lot of things I relate to work, as And I've got a young plant with young management, but very intelligent. And I said, this is our motto. We are either winning or we're learning. And that's it.
That's good.
We're either going to learn from a mistake we made and not make it again, or we're winning because we're hitting our marks. We're doing what we need to do. And, it's not easy. Life's not easy, right? Life is not easy. And that's what I want this podcast to be about, is about life's not easy. So let's figure out how to make it better. And the way to make life better is to make us better. And, better is so subjective. What in the hell does better mean? Because I don't really know. What does better mean? Better means that when life seems to be falling apart, you don't have air conditioning, and the transmission just drops out of your car, that within 48 hours you can say, hey, look, God smiled on me. This is a great day. They had to tighten up some bolts and not charge me for any repair on my car. That's better.
And I think Andrew's response was, we needed this win.
Yes.
We needed this win.
Yes.
And so he took that moment.
Right.
And recognized, instead of just saying, we still don't have air and we still got this.
No,
now we're
right.
fighting about,
and that is like, awesome.
I needed this win.
And he got it. Yep. I love that. And I want people listening, if you have shit like this going down in your life, look for the small victory. Look for the little win, just like Andrew did. I was so proud of that call.
Yep.
I'm like,
and he's like, we're going to stop and get ice cream on the way home because we're going to celebrate this win. We still got this other stuff going on, and it's a mess, but we're going to celebrate this win.
And I laud that. That is absolutely phenomenal. Right. No, that's right. So here's what what kind of episodes are going to be coming your way in the not too distant future? So we've got surrounded but not shaken, how to stay sane in a chaotic world, which is kind of what we're just talking about with Andrew, right? And then disconnected, why we feel so alone, and then how to reconnect. Because I believe, and I think there's plenty of evidence to prove this, we were never made to be alone. You'll also hear burned out but still burning, right? Reigniting passion when you're tired of trying. And then we got to do one on passion, just raw passion. Why are you giving me those looks?
I'm looking at your look.
And my personal favorite, faith in pieces. What to do when you're not sure what you believe anymore.
Been there, done that.
These aren't lectures. These are conversations. You, me, the stuff nobody's talking about, but everyone's feeling. Some episodes will go deep. Some will be like sitting on a front porch with a cold drink and someone who finally gets it. You know what I mean. Some might even make you laugh, like the time I tried meditation, fell asleep, and woke up thinking I was enlightened. But I drooled on my pillow. That was all it was. I didn't really... And that's happened a lot. You know that. You know that. And I want everybody to understand, really, guess what? This is what we all need to know. We're not alone. You're not alone. You maybe haven't heard it enough lately. I don't care where you're at, but you're not weird. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're just living in a time that's loud, fast, and confusing, where everyone's trying to look perfect on Instagram but quietly crying in their car.
Mm-hmm.
This podcast is here to tell the truth, to say out loud what most people whisper, and to remind you that you don't have to figure it all out by Tuesday. If you've ever felt like you're supposed to be on all the time, or like you're faking it to just keep up, or like you might actually be allergic to a group text, which I am. You know my saying about group text? They're like prison sex. They're not enjoyable and you can't get out of them. Then you're in the right place. So it's really just a new kind of crusade. Yeah, this is still a crusade, but not the kind with flags and drums. This is the crusade of staying kind when everyone else is snarky. I can't imagine being snarky.
Oh my goodness.
Finding meaning when everything feels like noise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of slowing down long enough to remember who you are and what actually matters.
Mm-hmm.
It's the crusade of showing up, of taking care of your mental health, of being fully alive in a world that wants you numb or distracted. My queen, do you have any closing thoughts or things that you would like to add for our relaunch of Crusade with Me?
Mm.
We didn't talk about Jeff Bezos getting married. We didn't talk about the Supreme Court just kind of tamped down some judges saying they can't make nationwide blockages of, there's a lot of stuff going on out there in the world. And we can get into some of that stuff, but what I really want to talk about is us and how we get through all this chaos and BS and how we reconnect with people. Because that's huge.
Yeah. Well, I guess when it comes to connecting with people, you and I kind of had a conversation this morning, not to talk about now, but I guess I'm going to kind of talk about, because I think it kind of goes with this a little bit. We talked about how, walking with people, there's certain people you can walk with and certain people you just kind of have to walk away from. And the criteria to me is if people can't see, if people don't want to grow with you,
Mm-hmm.
then you kind of have to leave them behind.
Yes.
And I guess, so we all need to make that choice. Are we going to grow? Are we going to admit our wrongs? Or just admit that we are sin sick, fallen people?
Right.
And either you admit that or you don't. And if you can't admit that, then we are in two different places in life. And I can't walk with you.
I get it. Yes.
But I can walk with anybody who can admit that. Anybody.
Yeah.
Who can admit that. But believe it or not, there are people who can't admit that.
I get it.
So I want to walk with anybody who can admit that. No matter how far apart we are on
Doesn't matter.
any
Right.
subject, I will walk with you.
Hey, life could truly be winning or learning.
Yes. And
That's it.
that's where I wanted to make that connection.
Yeah.
Is,
That's life.
yeah, we're either winning or we're learning. And if you can't admit that you're a sin sick, fallen person, then you're not winning or learning.
Correct. Oh, good stuff. So, if you're ready to laugh a little, learn a lot, or maybe even cry once in a while, I don't care. I'm not a big crier, but whatever makes you open up your mind, not because you're falling apart, but maybe because you're waking up, then I say, let's go. I just want to say, baby,
Mm-hmm.
I love you.
I love you too.
That's it for today, my friends. We're back. We're recharged. We're ready. New episodes drop every week, sometimes solo, sometimes interviews, always real. And I'd love to hear from you. What's a topic you wish to talk about more openly? What are you working through right now? Hit me up by email or on social media. Email is crusadewithme@outlook.com. On Facebook, we're on Facebook under Crusade with Me. Hit us up. Let us know. Until next time, stay strong, stay grounded, stay weird in the best way. And as always, Crusade with Me.